video, I wanted to touch along the lines of being able to differentiate between you, your pain, your experiences, and the pain and experiences of someone else that happens to be projecting their pain. Times people find themselves in a position, to where they become, okay, they become like this. So many times people find themselves in the position to where they're living out or they're becoming victimized. They become the victim of someone else's pain. A lot of times we see this in family situations, relationships with people that we just are so in love with, we're so attached to, okay? We're close friends with someone, whatever the case may be, because remember, a lot of times, a lot of times, I'm not speaking against family or nothing like that, but these are through my own experiences, guys. A lot of times I can come up here and I can say these things too. Okay. A lot of times these people that we become extremely attached to in our existence, they usually carry some sort of strong label or affiliation with us. Like our mother, our father, our sisters, our brothers, our cousins, our second cousins, third cousins, grandmother, grandfather, uncle, aunt, goddaughter, godmom, godfather, godsister, godbrother. The list can go on. Best friend, bestie. We start accumulating these people with these labels, with these associations. And as we begin to interact with these people, it depends on how young, from earlier on in childhood all the way up until adulthood. As we begin to interact with these people, we begin to notice things about these people, right? That we accept as just normal. Okay. Some of us find ourselves in abusive situations with some of these people, but we paint it off and we write it off and we sign it off as this is normal. This is normal because this is my mother, this is my father, this is my sister, this is my brother. All the while feeling that the interaction between or in the relating between these people and, is off. It doesn't feel right a lot of times. It's something wrong. But because of our need to be attached with these people in these situations, we overlook. We overlook the interactions we're having with these people. Okay. To the point of where what they are experiencing, we start experiencing. Or you find yourself starting to experience it. I'm trying to do my best to separate one aspect of what I'm talking about with the other aspect of what I'm talking about, if you know what I mean. Okay? Now, think about what that looks like. Because yes, when they're experiencing good things and everything is going right, that gives us or puts us in a position to receive those good things, right? And what's going right. It puts us into that position to inherit that. But that's not the case for everybody, Just flip that over real quick and imagine being in a situation to where somebody is projecting something a little bit more vitriolic, hateful, abusive even, painful. Then we're also on the side, or in a place to inherit that. So much so, even to the point of where sometimes and oftentimes we then turn around and do it to other people. Like the children that we have, continuing cycles in our lineage and things of that nature, if that makes any sense. All because we were not able to differentiate somebody else's pain from our pain. Like, really just think about that for a second. There are many people right now, like, there are many people right now that have formed an opinion about themselves that's not so good, that's not a pretty picture, that's, a bad overall opinion about themselves. That's not even who they really are. Yes, it's to the point sometimes to where when you start taking on a viewpoint about yourself, so much to the point that you really start acting like that, is how you know when you've taken on somebody else's pain or somebody else's projection. You taking it on, you taking it to heart, that you really believed it. You believed it and you became all of those things. There are people out here that's living that way right now. That's experiencing exactly what I'm talking about right now. Even though it's not something that's talked about a lot. It's not something that's talked about at all most of the time. We don't even know. Like, you'll find yourself literally walking around every day projecting and thinking of yourself as a reflection of somebody else's pain that they've projected onto you. And don't get me wrong, at times we project our pain onto other people as well, but I'm coming more from a place of where, I'm talking to people or individuals that, are coming from a place of where they really have experienced this in a way, is in a traumatic way, to where they've even acknowledged it. This is something that they acknowledge. They're conscious of it. And if they're not conscious of it, hopefully I can make them conscious of it by just talking about it. And what do I mean? To take this a step further, what do I mean? There are some children, yeah, they're adults now, but they walk around possibly even growing up in situations to where the relationship that they had with their parents could have made them feel like there was nothing, or there is nothing that they could ever do right. There is some people doing this with friends that they have. They will try to live up to this idea or to this image that their parents could be projecting onto them, their family could be projecting onto them, that none of them have ever lived up to, by the way. This is a very big possibility. In hopes that if they can just complete this one thing, then finally they will be accepted. Finally they'll be good enough to gain or gather some type of attention or praise from this person, these people. Finally, they'll be good enough to be able to be loved by this person. Finally. But you know what? That finally never comes. Because as soon as they accomplish that thing that they think that they're supposed to be doing, that they're supposed to become that person they're supposed to be, in order to garner that attention, that respect a lot of times. Because believe it or not, most times that's what it is. You know, we all want to be respected. Like, think about it. Some people say, or many people say, hey, you know, it's love that I'm looking for. It's love that I want. You know what I'm saying? And maybe so. But it's a difference from giving and having interacting with love with in love with someone or with love than having someone say to you, you know, I love you, but I really admire you as a person. Like, great job. I'm proud of you and what you've accomplished, who you've become, everything you've done. There's a difference. And imagine that person, though, that's coming from a place to where each thing that they do, it's always one thing off or one step too late. It's like the goalpost moves and it changes and it shape shifts and it becomes something else that you have to reach, another goal you have to accomplish. You're not quite there yet. You're not quite good enough yet. Being in that place is very, very painful. And sometimes looking up and not even understanding or comprehending why. It's like, well, why am I being put here? Why am I here at this place? It feels painful. I'm feeling degraded. I'm feeling unworthy. Like, all these feelings come up. But I don't understand and I cannot comprehend why. You know, like, it's easy to take on that projection of someone's pain and like and take it on and wear it. You know, I mean, there's an answer to this. There's an answer to this. You know, you can never really please that person. You can never really become good enough for that person because the reality is they're not pleased with themselves. They don't feel good enough with themselves. A lot of what they do and who they are is just a mirage, an image. Is what they're projecting and presenting. And you will realize, you know, at some point you will get to the place to where you realize this and you really come to a place to where you say you have to ask yourself the question of why. Like, wait a minute, what is it that I'm really doing? Because you'll be doing all these things. You'll be trying to accomplish these different goals. You'll be trying to beautify yourself. You'll be trying to get better and be great and just be all these things, just to see and turn around and see that you were always great. Yeah, you had your flaws. You made your mistakes. But who you were, the way that you were, was great within itself. It was great within itself. Okay? And that everything you did was never to please these other people in the first place. Everything you did was to get you to rise to your own greatness. You know, it's when you wake up and you look around and you realize that everything you tried to become for these people, for this significant person, whatever the case may be, everything you try to become, you look up to please them, whatever it is, to please them, and they still don't accept you. They still don't like you. They still are projecting this pain and these insecurities and this vitriol and this abusive interactions, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna keep saying whatever the case may be because, like, you can add on your own words and identify this in the way that you would like. But you look up and you realize, like, dang, you know, what did I become? What was I doing is the question. and you look at the accomplishments you made, and you look at like who you really are, and you look at how, you look at like, dang, you know what, I did this on my own though. It wasn't them. I did this. So if I can make these accomplishments and I can make these changes in my life and I can become a better person and I can become all those things that I feel like will finally get me accepted, if I can do all those things, what can I put my energy and my focus and my time towards that could really elevate me even more, that could really have me shine even more, that can really help me live out my mission and what I'm trying to accomplish even more. Imagine if I came from that place to where, I didn't take on the pain of this other person, of these people. Imagine if I recognized that what their issue is with me has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with what they've experienced and what they're going through. And I stop the interaction. I stop the current. I stop the energy flow that they have flowing in for them over on to me, right? Imagine having that power and stopping that and saying, you know what? Nope, I send this back to you, because whatever you're going through, the pain that you haven't healed past, I can't do anything about that. But what I will not do is I will not let you project it onto me any longer. And it hurts, guys. It's painful. Especially like if it's a parent or it's like somebody close to you, a lover or something like that. It's painful because it's hard to get and move away from feeling like you're not enough for these people that's supposed to really care about you, and that's you're supposed to have these relationships with, and it's supposed to be about love and everything, to realize like, dang, you know what? They're never going to see me for who I really am. And if they do, they never would, because of their own ego or whatever the case may be, they never will want to admit that to me. Like, if you can get in a place to where you can just accept that, maybe later on down the line, one day in life, when you're doing your thing, they would be able to. But you have to first get yourself to the place of knowing that is not your cross to bear. See, that's what we're moving out of. The age of Pisces, Nothing against Christ, but when Christ first came into existence, representing the age of Pisces and wearing the cross for us all. Bearing that cross, right? People needed that. Human existence needed that at the time for whatever development and evolution process that we were going through. But when we get to a place, we're in new energy, we're in a new age, we're in a new time, we get to that place where we realize that we don't have to bear the cross for someone else, because doing so, we're actually taking away pieces of ourselves in the process. Diminishing it, fly in the wind, fly, just fly. Everything breaking at us, breaking away from us. And then we try to go out and we try to live in the world. We try to live life. We try to live a meaningful life, and we don't understand why we keep getting crap thrown back at us, because it's impossible to live a meaningful life if you're not feeling whole within yourself. It's impossible. Wholeness comes from knowing. Wholeness comes from the inner strength that we acquire as we go through challenges. As we stand strong, like, yes, we have our weaknesses, and we have our moments of weaknesses and weakness. But our strength endures. And causes and allows us to get up courageously get up and face everything that once ripped away at us into those pieces, that just became shredded, blown everywhere, and put those pieces back together. And do you know, like, every time you pick up one of those pieces and you put it back together from what somebody tried to come and tear off of you, those pieces that somebody tried to come and break you down, every piece of it, once you put every piece you start putting back together, the more powerful, the more stronger you become, the more powerful you become. And it's from a place of authenticity, and it's not about you boasting, it's not about you bragging, it's not about you being next to the better than the next person. It's about none of that. Nothing that you experience, nothing that happens to you can tear you down. Now, you might feel a way about it, but you're in sync. God knows you're in sync. And it starts with you differentiating. You have to be able to say, you have to be able to know when what someone else is projecting onto you, if that is really you. Like, do you deserve that? Like, is that really you? Did you do these things? Are you really these things in this person that they're making you feel like you are every time you're interacting with them? Is that really you? Or is this something, their pain? Is this something that they've experienced and they don't know how to project anything different because they didn't get anything different and they didn't really know how to deal with what it was that they were getting? You have to be able to differentiate that pain. You have your own pain. Like, imagine having to deal with somebody else's pain and somebody else's evilness or somebody else's hurt. However you want to put it. Imagine having to deal with that and deal with your own pain too, and deal with your own life experiences too. And see, people don't get that. They see you, they form their own opinion and their own thoughts of how they feel like you are, and then they start putting themselves in the place to feel like they need to deliver your fate. Okay, I'm going to treat you like crap because, see, you think you're all of this and you think you all of that because they see you smiling, even though deep down inside you might be hurt. Deep down inside, you might be feeling like you're nothing, that you're worthless. They don't see or they don't know that you cried all night. But you wanted to get up the next day and you wanted to put a smile on your face and you wanted to continue on with life because you didn't want them to see your pain or you didn't want them to see your hurt. You wanted to present this air of yourself about, you know what, I'm just going to get up, I'm going to do my job, and I'm just going to pull it together. That's what you wanted to do. But they see it as, I'm going to break you down some more. And that's like the worst kind of pain to feel in life. It's like feeling alone, feeling hopeless, and not having anybody to turn to. But I'm here to tell you, anytime you feel that you are ready to say enough is enough, I would rather be alone. I would rather sacrifice that all, like, to put the pieces of myself back together again. Because in the end, it's going to be worth it. Oh yeah, because I'm worth it. When you are ready to say it's enough, that enough is enough, take your pain back, you will. Because you will be able to, recognize, wait a minute. I'm not going to let you do that. You don't even have to verbally tell these people this. You could just stop. You're on your own. Like, I'm not going to let you do that. Like, you can have somebody else as your punching bag, but it's not going to be me. And you cannot let these people do things to you and mistreat you because they identify themselves as a family member. You don't got to disrespect anybody, but you got to know when to say enough is enough. Okay? I'm Butterfly to Light. And it's time for you to differentiate somebody else's pain from your own.